Now, what about one of these? One of the world's most expensive supercars, which was recently unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show. It is a Lamborghini. It is called the Centenario to celebrate 100 years since the birth of the company's founder. Only 40 of them being built, and they cost around $2 million or so. Well, we've got the CEO of Lamborghini with us from the Geneva Motor Show this week to talk about that and the luxury car business in general. It's Stefan Winkelmann. Thank you so much for joining us on Counting the Cost. I just want to ask you about the Centenario. As I said, 40 of them, $1.9 million each or thereabouts. Who buys that? And are you just going to sell all of those easily?
They are all sold, and let's say they are equally distributed. We have a lot in North America, we have some in Europe, we have the Middle East covered, and also the Asian side of this world. So they are pretty much well balanced in terms of the sales, 20 coupes and 20 roadsters.
Unbelievable. Let's talk more about the more budget versions, if I can call it that, what you more commonly sell at Lamborghini. How have your sales gone in a market where, you know, I sometimes wonder if luxuries would sort of start to go out the window a little bit when times are tougher economically?
Yes, for the time being, on a worldwide base, we are looking good. The 2 months, January and February, they're a bit above the level of last year. We have a solid order bank, but now to make a forecast for the year 16 as a whole is a bit difficult. And if it stays like it is, I think that we will be on the same level as last year.
Okay. Tell me more about doing business in these conditions then, because, you know, I speak to a lot of economists and a lot of academics, but I always think it's good to talk to business people themselves and find out how difficult or not difficult they find it, I guess, and what adjustments they have to make to counter these economic conditions.
Well, let's say that in general, what we have to look into is to have a very balanced distribution. So if the crisis is local, this is not going to hit us too hard. We always have to watch out how many cars we produce. We have to watch the order bank, as I said before, because the order bank is something which is telling you how much people are willing to buy a car like ours. And if you have a solid order bank, which is tested over the weeks and over the months, usually you should not have bad surprises. But you always have to be prepared to cut production and to have, let's say, a close eye on the different markets.
Okay, so why don't you tell me about some of those different markets then? I've been asking our guests this week and many times about China, because for everyone it has been the big growth market, and now it's going through this sort of controlled slide.
You know, if we speak about mainland China, then for Lamborghini and for the super sports car business in general, it's always been a very small segment. And the segment is not growing, it's shrinking since at least 3 or 4 years. So we are very well prepared also in the year 2016, facing a stable, very small super sports car segment, because you should not mix the global market of China with the segment, and the segment is very small. In comparison, the US segment of the super sports car is 6 times bigger, and the total market is more or less the same. So you get an understanding and a feeling on how we look into the market, which is very much different to the mainstream cars.
Okay. Let's talk about you, Mr. Winkelmann, because as I understand it, you're moving on from Lamborghini shortly. What do you think will be the sort of legacy that you might leave behind after, 10 or 11 years there?
You know, a legacy is something others should talk about and not the one involved. But I'm proud of the team, and if the team is recognized as the maker of the success of these cars and the increase of the image of our brand, then this would be a legacy which is nice to be part of.
Do you think, though, there'll be more changes at Lamborghini, if you can answer a thinly veiled question like that?
I don't know, but this is in a company there are constantly changes, and if the head is changing, there's a bit more visibility. But we are a company which has 1,300 employees, and we are hiring on a speed of more or less 100 and more than 100 per year. So there are changes constantly.
Stefan Winkelmann, the CEO of Lamborghini. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining us.